Do you truly enjoy what you think you enjoy? Every time you pick up your phone and scroll aimlessly, or open another tab for something that doesn't interest you, eat without hunger, laugh without joy, consume without need, who is really enjoying? You, or the system that conditioned you to seek immediate pleasure? Here's the harsh truth. You've been programmed to chase pleasure, but you'll never achieve it. And the worst part is, you didn't even realize it. We live in an age where pleasure is just around the corner, but it's never enough. Aldous Huxley predicted this almost a century ago. He warned that true control wouldn't come through oppression, but through pleasure, not through force, but distraction. A world where books don't need to be banned because people lose interest in reading. A world where truth isn't hidden. It's buried under mountains of irrelevant noise. A world where people don't need to be controlled because they're too addicted to their own distractions. And here you are, living in Huxley's world. A world where every desire is instantly fulfilled, but the emptiness multiplies. Pleasure has become a drug, and you're its addict. Do you think you're free because you choose what you consume, but who's really choosing when every option is designed to trap you? Look around. Every notification, every sound, every flash of color is a trap disguised as entertainment. Immediate pleasure has become the new dictatorship. They don't punish you. They entertain you. They don't repress you. They stimulate you. They don't lock you up. They fill you with options that leave you paralyzed. People get lost in fleeting pleasures while their real lives fall apart. It's addiction. And like any addiction, it's not the pleasure that's sought. It's the next dose. Food is no longer food. It's dopamine in the form of sugar and fat. Social media isn't connection. It's artificial validation. The content you consume isn't learning. It's mental anesthesia. They've sold us the lie that pleasure is the goal, but what if it's the poison? Huxley saw it coming. The future wouldn't be of oppression, but distraction. Every dose of cheap pleasure weakens your ability to feel true pleasure. Children can't concentrate on a book, but they can watch hours of 5-second videos. Adults can't enjoy silence, but fill every minute with senseless noise. Relationships deteriorate because instant gratification makes effort seem unnecessary. The problem isn't pleasure. The problem is how easily we get it. Why has love become disposable? Because there are infinite options. Why do people abandon big dreams? Because immediate gratification is more accessible. Why do you never feel completely satisfied? Because fleeting pleasure doesn't fill the void. This is how pleasure becomes a weapon. It keeps you distracted while your life slips by. It keeps you addicted while you lose the ability to feel real pleasure. It keeps you trapped in a pursuit that will never end. Because pleasure isn't the problem, it's the price you pay for it. And the real question is, are you willing to keep paying? The biggest trap isn't the addiction to pleasure. It's the illusion that you need it. They've taught us that happiness equals enjoyment. But no one taught us to endure boredom. No one explained that real life, the one worth living, is a series of struggles. We've been conditioned to think everything must be stimulating, easy, and pleasurable. And now, when we face something difficult, we feel something's wrong. If studying isn't fun, we quit. If a relationship has problems, we discard it. If a project requires effort with no immediate reward, we put it off. The modern world has made us impatient, convinced that discomfort is a mistake. We flee from the void instead of understanding it. The result? A society of people who can't tolerate the slightest frustration, who need constant stimuli to avoid facing their own thoughts, who confuse comfort with happiness, and are more miserable than ever. Here's the paradox. The easier it is to obtain pleasure, the harder it is to be happy. The brain isn't designed for constant reward. When everything is pleasure, nothing is special. When everything is immediate, nothing has value. When everything is easy, life loses its meaning. And yet, we keep increasing the dose, seeking the next dopamine hit, the next video, the next message that will make us forget that we're empty inside. But here's the worst part. Not only are they stealing your happiness, but they're stealing your ability to think. A mind addicted to pleasure is incapable of questioning. And in terms of social control, that's the ultimate move. They keep us entertained, so we don't realize what's being taken from us. Do you remember when you could concentrate for hours without checking your phone? When you could be bored without panicking? When your attention wasn't fractured into 1,000 pieces? All of that has been programmed to disappear. Every app, every social network, every entertainment platform has been designed to hack your brain, make you unable to focus, train you to respond to impulses rather than thoughts, and turn you into a passive consumer, not a conscious creator. Because a person who can't concentrate can't learn. A person who can't endure boredom can't reflect. A person who can't think clearly can't question. And that's the end goal. We don't need an authoritarian government when we're entertained into submission. We don't need censorship when people no longer care to question. We don't need chains when people lock themselves in cages of cheap pleasure. Huxley was right. The love of servitude will be our destiny, but it won't be imposed. It will be chosen. Want to know how they do it? Through saturation. They have taught us that freedom is about choice, but when they give you infinite options, they're taking away your power. You choose between 1,000 series, but none fulfill you. 1,000 songs, but none completely satisfy. 1,000 people, but each relationship is more superficial than the last. You think you have more options, but you only have more distractions. In a society of pleasure, nothing matters. It doesn't make you freer. It makes you weaker. The more conditioned you are to seek immediate pleasure, the less capacity you have to resist discomfort. But discomfort is the foundation of growth. No success without effort. No love without sacrifice. No purpose without pain. The modern world doesn't want you to grow. It wants you to consume. Because a person who faces difficulty strengthens. A person who resists discomfort becomes independent. A person who can delay gratification becomes dangerous because they no longer need the cheap pleasures the system offers. Here's the final question. Are you the owner of your mind, or have you become a slave to pleasure? The first step to reclaiming your freedom isn't to put down your phone or uninstall an app. It's to understand that pleasure isn't the problem. It's the relationship you have with it. If you can control your desire for immediate pleasure, you control your life. If you can resist instant gratification, you can build something real. If you can endure boredom, you can think for real. Pleasure isn't the enemy. The enemy is the weakness it creates when you don't know how to use it. So the next time you feel the need to seek distraction, ask yourself, who's in control here? Because if it's not you, then someone else is. And that, my friend, is the greatest form of slavery